Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Thank you guys for joining us as you do each and every week. We are, of course, live on our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you are with us on one of these channels, be sure to hop on over into the comments and throw your questions and comments over in the chat. We will get to those throughout the show as we do every week. Joining me tonight, right now, it's only the one and only Earl Nieto. Jacob may be joining us here in a little while, depending on how late we run on the show this evening. Jacob had to make a run over to Roswell tonight, apparently, so he is not back yet. So for now, you get Earl and myself. And Earl, you said that you had some shoulder issues today, had a little bit of pain. How you feeling? How's your shoulder doing?
Oh, it hurts. On a scale of 1 to 10, my pain's about a 15.
Oh,
yeah, it's just constantly there. So like I told you guys in the chat, if I have to hop out, it's because of the pain. I'm going to try to push through it. I did this to myself, and that's what I have to face. I did this to myself, especially today. I had to do some yard work, and I decided, I should be fine. When I carried a bucket of gravel to the backyard, that's where I figured that my life sucks.
You do know you have two arms, right? You didn't have to use the bad one to do that.
No, so the bucket that we used was like a pan.
Mm-hmm.
We used it for an old dog bowl, and it was the one thing in the front yard that didn't have water for the dogs. So I grabbed that real quick, thinking, it'd be real quick, it won't be that heavy. I lied to myself, that's for sure. Because it hurt for sure, and I felt it like almost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
But I had already committed to carrying the bucket, so I was like, I'm just gonna carry it. But yeah, so the shoulder is obviously still there. I go next week for my follow-up, and then that same day I go for a second opinion over at one of the United sponsors.
Oh, all right. Well, I think it might be fair to say that any potential Earl Nieto playing goalkeeper at any point in the future is probably shot because of this injury.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. All right, we'll see if we can't get you try out with the Runners here in a couple of months, depending on your.
So before you carry on, I do have a fun fact. I know everyone here knows I'm all about fun facts.
Mm-hmm.
So fun fact about me. I love watching shows about water.
Okay.
Any type of water. I mean, lakes, rivers, puddles, ponds, anything like that. In fact, right before we hopped on here, I was actually watching a live stream.
Of? Is there something appropriate to say on air, or?
It was a live stream.
Oh, okay. But why?
Because it's a water. A stream is water. I
Uh-huh.
love watching water. In fact, I was watching a live stream.
Just of a stream.
Just carry on.
Okay. I will admit there is this TikTok creator that I have been watching recently. They go around and they kind of clean up, not necessarily spillways, but like unnatural dams, like from people throwing trash and overgrowth and stuff like down into these little streams and rivers and things. And they go and they start cleaning it out to help make the ecosystem a little bit healthier, keep the water moving and things like that. So do you watch that kind of stuff too, or is it just like
I watch everything.
Stuff? Okay.
I watch everything. On another note, there was a baby born in England with no eyelids.
That's unsettling.
Yeah, so the baby had surgery. Surgery went good, but they had to use the baby's foreskin. Kind of like a skin graft. So like I said, the surgery went good. But the doctor said he might be a little cockeyed.
Oh God. I didn't know where you were going with that one. Oh man. Oh, and the two viewers we had have left the chat. Thank you, Earl.
Actually, who do we have in the chat? We had,
I don't know who was.
Yeah,
there.
we officially lost people. We officially lost two.
Yeah, we lost the people over there. But anyway, we do have a show to get to this evening, and some. I was gonna say some good, some bad, but there really wasn't any good. So, I mean, I don't even know. I just don't even know where to start. Like we've talked about it a little bit. Did you get to go back and watch the match?
Yes.
I know you had. Okay, I know you hadn't watched it as of late Sunday night. So,
well, no, I watched the match. I was just preoccupied doing other things like ironing my clothes for work. Mm-hmm. I'm still 100% certain and determined to say that first goal, was it the first goal? Yeah, the first goal from United was a keeper deflection. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. It could be my tired eyes, but regardless of the fact, I still think it was a deflection off the keeper, and that's what gave Romario the open shot. But
yeah, I mean, we'll just go ahead and bury the lead. I mean, New Mexico United, of course, played Sunday night against Los Dos and walked away with a 2-2 draw after leading 2-0 at the break. Yeah, we were discussing things in our chat, and I just, what is it with this team? What is it? Like, in a lot of these instances, we've seen where we outplay our opponents for significant portions of the match, and then something happens and we give up a late goal, or just some kind of fluky thing happens. But here again, this is another instance where United plays really well for more than half the match, but we just seem to fall apart for 10-15 minutes at a time every single match. And like, I'm tired. Like, it's not that I've excused things in the past, but this is a match that we really should have had well in hand. And I don't know where to go from here. And, we've talked about some of the issues that we've had, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I thought we looked okay the first half. Romario obviously opened his account for the club. Pass from Bees, some not great camera angles on that. Romario opened his account, picked up a second one later in the half, off an own goal from some pressure from Christian Nava. Great to see Christian Nava back. So this is a positive. This is the positive for Sunday night. Christian Nava, of course, returned to the 18 after a mysterious absence, which we've been told is not in soccer related. And it seemed to take him a little while to get involved and really have an impact on the match. But ultimately, he did force an own goal out of Los Dos. Looking at Nava and his return, Earl, what did you take away from seeing Nava back on the pitch?
It was a good spurt of energy that we seem to have been lacking. And what's going on, Harry? So yeah, it was a good spurt of energy that we seem to have been lacking. Did he show a lot of match rust? Absolutely. I mean, he's been gone for about a month and a half. In that month and a half, we played about 17 billion games. So in that time, we've played about 17 million games. So yeah, he definitely had rust. I mean, but for him coming in for the amount of time that he did, he actually did decent. He did really good. He was still on the ball, still attacking. He did get beat a couple times, but overall, I think he was still really decent.
Yeah, Nava looked pretty good. And that was the comment that I had made, both on Twitter. I think I made it in our group chat as well. Was that he looked rusty. You could tell that he hadn't played in a while, and it certainly seems like it was because obviously he hadn't played in a competitive match in well over a month. And so, yeah, you could see him play into the match. And then right before his goal, you could see him, making some moves, have showing a little bit of that technical ability that we know that he has to break some ankles, get to a dangerous position. And when he first got that second attempt he made, at first I thought it went through and hit the far post and bounced back out, just because of the sound that it made, But when you watch it slow enough, you can see that it clearly goes off the Los Dos defender and into the goal, and so a little bit of fortune there for New Mexico United. And Yeah, I mean, as a whole, we looked pretty good in the first half. We saw some pretty good movement. We saw Romario doing some good things. We saw Nico doing some good things. And that was after seeing a team sheet that I kind of questioned, going, okay, what are we doing? Because I mean, we know the we know the graphic on the Twitter, on the picture that the club puts out isn't always accurate as to what the team's actually going to line up like. But yeah, it seemed really interesting again with that lineup that we had, and you look at it, and it was basically a 3-4-3. But it did actually have, we did have 4 guys listed as playing in defense. But I look at this, and it's particularly the second half, and again, we made mistakes at the back yet again. On one of those Los Dos goals, you can see, I believe it was let me double check. I'm pretty sure it was the second one where you see Kalen slide over to pick up the run to the right side of goal. It might have been let me double check. It might have been the first one. Yeah, it was the first one. You see Kalen slide way over outside of the goal, leaving Will and Harry to defend the center of the box. Now this, it's partially on Kalen. Kalen probably should have sat back a little bit, not straight out so wide. Probably should have had, Josh Suggs drop back. I mean, there's any number of things that should have happened on this play, but I mean, what is it? What is going on, particularly with Kalen Ryden at the back? And it's just a lack of awareness at this point. And
what I think is, I don't think it's a lack of awareness. I think it's a lack of consistency. I mean, you look at it, he's had a different line. And I say he because he's pretty much the stalwart of that back line. If we're going to have someone in the back line, it's going to be Kalen. But he has someone different just about every week. I mean, yeah, Will's done it before, but he's not a lineman. He's not a back linesman. He's a central defending midfielder. If you look at all his profile, it's defending midfielder. Yeah. He's essentially what Sam Hamilton should be, but he's not. They have him playing on the back line where he gets beat. They have him playing on the back line where he doesn't have the pace to keep up with the attack that's coming towards him. And then, for lack of better words, he panics and then doesn't know what to do. But when he's playing the midfield like he knows how to, we're solid. So if we were to have a solid back line, even if you go with the same formation that Twitter showed where he had 2-7-1 or whatever the hell it was, you think I'm kidding too.
No, it looked like a 2-5-1-2 if you look at that.
Yeah, it was something dumb. It was something like, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And actually I said that with more colorful words. Even with that formation that Twitter put out, where's Ratty?
Right.
Why don't we ever see Ratty? If we're short on the back line, why are you going to take someone out of their playing position where he specializes in defensive mid and put him on the back line when you have Ratty, you have Josh, you have just about anybody else, but we keep seeing someone being pulled out of position. And I hate to make this, and I'm probably going to get a bunch of heat for this one, probably get a bunch of flack and shit from it, but it's okay because that's my job. Essentially, what we're doing is what Rick Shantz is doing with Phoenix, where he's pulling Sainte off of the attacking field, off the attacking side, and put him on the back line. We're taking someone out of their special position, their specialty position that they're specialized in, and put them in a position that they are somewhat familiar with because they did good in training 2 days out of the week.
Yeah, I mean, Will and Sam are clearly, they are midfielders by trade, but when you look at the early season, particularly this year, I mean, Sam is a guy who, before he got hurt last year, basically transitioned to the defensive back to a center back role. If you look at how he and Will played earlier this year with all the injuries we had, they filled in at the back and did really well. And the line looked really good with Will and Sam and Austin or Rosh, whoever that third person was playing that three back situation.
But they had the third back. That's the thing.
Right.
The way we're playing on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon was we had Kalen and we had Will.
Mm-hmm.
That's who we had was our back line was 2.
And then you had the 2 fullbacks who just...
And then you had the 2 fullbacks to bolt up. That's not going to work when you have an attacking team like Los Angeles, who, they're 31, I think they are, in point standings. They're sitting in 8th or something like that. But if you give a team an opportunity to send 3 on your 2, you're going to get beat every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been and honestly, the use of the fullbacks has not been working out well. We're not getting back in defense enough. We've seen some miscommunication issues over the past couple of weeks. We've seen a number of different things pop up, and for me, it goes back to when Kalen initially came back from injury. Now, and again, I don't think Kalen should be cut. I don't think he should be relegated to a bench guy, but he's not. For me, he's not the guy anymore. Will showed earlier this season that could be Will's line. Will could be the guy in charge of that defensive unit, and like I said, they did really well. But you look at the formations, you look at the choices, you look at the decisions that have been made on the pitch by the players, and just the awareness, the decision making, the recovery, the rotations. It's not there. It's not there, and what happens is that results in 10, 15-minute stretches where we look really, really bad at the back. We talked about the last, I think 3 weeks in a row, trying to figure out what is going on at the back. And, we've seen the mistakes from Kalen. We've seen the mistakes from Sam. We've seen the giveaways in the defensive third. And it's just ridiculous at this point. Midfield issues aside, we have now given up. Let me make sure I've got this right here. 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 2, 3, 5, 8, 10 goals in the past 10 matches. 10 goals in the past 5 matches. We've given up a third of our season's total of goals over the last 5 matches, basically. And there's no excuse for that. And I want to ask you
how many goals do we have, or how many goals scored on us have we allowed?
Pulling that up right now.
I thought we had 21 or 22.
26 now.
26.
We've given up 10 of those in the past 5 matches. I know you like to say, Alex is making bad decisions, and you've tried to call him out, things like that. And on Sunday, Alex wasn't even in there. We saw Ford Parker get the start for some reason. Alex wasn't hurt. Alex was on the team sheet. And we talked about this either last week or in our group chat, saying, really, where does the keeper need rest? So what's the point? Why put Ford there in this match? I would have asked him to against the Red Bulls, but
I have an idea why Ford came in.
Okay.
Do I think he should have came in for the Red Bulls? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was a lower level team, very lower level team. That would have got Ford what he needed. I think that he came in on this match because of confidence, in order to keep his confidence high in case Alex were to pick up something. There have been a couple times that Alex does come up a little slow, come up a little gimped, a little sluggish. So this way, if that were to happen, Parker still has his confidence in what's going on. Was I upset that Parker got the start? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The guy's seen a whole 4 matches, I believe, in 25 games now that we've played.
Mm-hmm.
So was I okay with him getting the start over Alex? Absolutely. Do I still think, as much heat as I've given Alex, as much shit that I've talked about him, do I still think he's our keeper? Absolutely. Do I still think he's top 5? Absolutely. Does he come up in some clutch saves and clutch moments? Yes, he does. He showed it a couple weeks back when we saved that penalty, I think, against Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was. So Alex still has the ability to lead that, to stand in the sticks and take care of business there. Do I think he makes some mistakes and makes some stupid decisions, like decides to scissor kick the ball when he could have just stayed in his post? Yeah, but he's still our keeper, that's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily have an issue with Ford starting. I mean, Ford has obviously shown that he is a capable netminder. He's done well in the 3 previous appearances for us this season. But I just felt it was an interesting. I felt the timing was interesting. I felt like, again, it probably should have been the Red Bulls match. Give them that one instead of a match against a team like LA Galaxy, who is clearly fighting for their playoff lives. And Ford, I have to say, I mean, I felt like Ford did well. You know, the first goal, obviously the header into the upper 90. Not a lot that Ford could do about that one, particularly given the angle that the ball was sent in from, and where that ball ended up going. And then for the second one, again, there really wasn't a whole lot that Ford could do on that one either. Which is, it's just unfortunate. I mean, Ford had a good game, came up big in the closing minutes as well. To keep the match at 2-2, because you look at the second goal and Perez, drives in on goal, beats Sam, and then Kalen kind of sort of does a half step up, doesn't really close him down, doesn't do anything, gives him a free shot basically. And I mean, maybe Ford could have played that one slightly better, but I get that's on Sam and Kalen. They both got beat, but
Kalen that goes back to what I said earlier.
Yeah,
playing players out of their position. Why you have Sam in an attacking midfield role, I don't know. One, Sam doesn't have the pace to be in an attacking midfield role.
No,
he's a defensive midfielder by trait. At the end of the day, if you look at it, he's defensive mid. And that's what he's built to do, is defensive mid and back line. So that putting him in there, and it's been a couple weeks that he's been up there, and that's kind of where our issues start, is right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just switch that out, even if you move Nava into that position and put Brucey on the end, or bring in Alexi and put him on the end and push someone on the inside, there's your problem solved. But you're having a defensive midfielder who doesn't have pace to try to outpace some of the quickest guys in the USL.
Yeah, the midfield has been an absolute issue for us all season. And we do have some roster news that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But yeah, it's so frustrating to watch. It's so frustrating to cover. And then, the guys over on the subreddit and on social media, they get aggravated. I know some folks are calling for Zach to be fired already. Now, we're still in 4th place. Have we had ideal results? No. Is firing Zach the right way to go? I don't think so. But something has to be done. Something has to change. I mean, Zach, he's shown that he can put out different formations, is willing to put out different formations, but he seems so set on using the fullbacks and pushing them super high up the pitch. And typically that's not an issue, because you have someone else who's going to drop back as a third. You have guys that are going to be able to recover. You have that defensive mid, that center defensive mid, that's going to drop back and help pick up in the defensive third. But we're getting beat because guys are getting pushed up way too high. We've seen it even with Rosh, even in the 3-back set. We've seen Rosh push up super high and get caught out of position. And so I look at this and I think, is it fair to call for Zach to be fired? No, I don't think so. Do I think that we should have better results? Abs-fucking-lutely.
And here's my thing. Do I think that Zach should get canned? No. It's year one for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been an assistant coach for the first 3 years. This is year one for him. He is a rookie head coach. Cut him some fucking slack. He's going to make a rookie mistake here and there. He shows it that he isn't perfect. He shows that he's still learning. And that's where I see it. As long as he's showing that he's still learning and making those changes, he's a rookie. Give him a fucking chance.
This isn't the Premier League. We're not Everton. We didn't go through 3 managers in a season.
Exactly.
So I agree. There is a learning curve, and obviously he's very clearly running Troy like 1.5, you know? And again, we've seen people say, oh, maybe he's lost the locker room. No, that's not the issue. We've talked to people that says that is not the issue. He hasn't lost the locker room. There's no disconnect between the coaching and the players. There's no lack of hype. It's not like that. It's just the system that we're running. We are not effectively implementing it. We're making mistakes. We're making a lot of it's mental mistakes. And like I said, getting caught too high up, or not making, particularly with the defensive play, the plays in the defensive third. And that's where a lot of it is. And it's just disappointing to see it week after week. And then, we go to the press conferences and we try to ask Zach about things like that, but he doesn't ever, he won't give you, this is what a lot of people say. A lot of people will say that he gives disingenuous answers, from the ones that I posted online. Or that he's not willing to answer the hard questions, or people have even accused the media as throwing softballs to Zach. And I tried to explain it to some people. We have to try to ask questions in a way that we're to try to pull answers out of them. And he's very much from the Troy school of thought. Like, he's not going to give something up that he doesn't have to. I mean, we're better off asking Pete questions, and Pete will give us answers to stuff that, we may not necessarily see. I mean, there was even a question on the AMA about how the club has performed this year. And Pete said, they'd like to see better results, but the club, we're still in third, fourth position, whatever we were at the time. We're fourth place right now. So we've been good enough to stay in the playoff hunt, but are we good enough to finish it out, particularly against the schedule where we have 7 of our final 10 matches against clubs that are currently in playoff positions?
See, here's my thing. Here's my take on it. And this is probably the unpopular opinion to the diehard fan base. But, oh well, I guess. I personally, and this is my personal opinion, not the views of Somos Mas, for any of those watching. This is my personal opinion. But my personal opinion is I don't want to host a playoff match. I don't. We are 7-3-4 now on the road.
Sounds right. Double checking that. Yeah, 7-2-4.
7-2-4. I was very close. So we're 7-2-4 on the road, which means we've only lost twice on the road. We're like 3-4 900 at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I would much rather play a game where we're comfortable playing on the road, as opposed to being at home and jeopardizing the place where we seem to be cursed.
Right? Yeah, I just don't know at this point. Like, I'm of the opinion that, hey, let's just, petition the league to play the rest of our season on the road, just because we seem to do so much better on the road than we do at home for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't. But speaking of away and different stadiums, can we give a shout out to Lou City?
I mean, let's go ahead.
And they're 14,671.
Yeah, it's impressive. It was a nice draw for them over the weekend.
First ever home sellout in the new stadium. So kudos to Lou City for drawing 14,000 people out on a Friday or Saturday night. I don't know what their result was. I don't know if they won or lost, but regardless of that,
they won.
I'm pretty sure they did too because they don't seem to lose, and Phoenix can't seem to win. But yeah, so kudos to Lou City, and now back to your regularly published broadcast.
I mean, we can't really seem to win either, so
Well, we can win, just not at home.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. Sunday was difficult. I've watched that match 3 times now, and I just keep going back trying to figure out. I watch the rotations. I watch what we're trying to do, and something's got to change, and it's got to change in a hurry. And unfortunately, United did make a change yesterday with the announcement that Carl Sainte, midfielder, is going on loan to FC Dallas affiliate North Texas SC for the remainder of the season. North Texas SC is, of course, a MLS Next Pro slide. Sainte came in the offseason. He was a guy that Jacob and I saw real early on. We were both real big on. We saw the work ethic. We saw his ability on and off the ball. But he just wasn't getting time. He wasn't getting minutes. And so, I hate to see him go, because he's a guy that I was really high on. Jacob was really high on. And just, it doesn't make it. It's good for him because he's going to go to an opportunity where he's more than likely going to get a chance to play. Now, the loan is, of course, with the option to buy for FC Dallas. But the bigger issue I have is that we've now signed 2 forwards in the past several weeks and let go of a midfielder when our issue is the midfield, if you ask me. We need someone that can be in there, be a creator, be an engine. And I felt like that's a role that Sainte could have done. He could have filled, but I just don't understand. I don't, and that's nothing against Kevon, and I want to ask you this too. Were you surprised that Kev didn't make the trip to LA?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Kev has been with the team for a little over a week now.
He never left.
He's been officially on the roster again for a little over a week.
Okay.
Do I expect him to play in a match or even be on the bench in a match after being on the team for a week? No. He's barely in preseason right now.
Mm-hmm.
To use Zach's words, he's in preseason. So he has to build a chemistry with all the new guys, with Nico, with Romario, with Mondo, with Nava, all these new guys that we brought in since he's departed, or since he was not on contract with us, because he never left, supposedly. So yes, now he has to build chemistry with all these new guys that we've brought in, these new pieces to the jigsaw puzzle. So no, I was not surprised to not see him. Because that would be like you starting a new job and a week after you start, you're doing all the duties on your own. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't surprised. But on the Sainte news, I also wasn't surprised about that, to be honest. Because I'm assuming, and this is just assuming, this is no inside knowledge, no inside source that I have, or anything like that. But my assumption is that Sergio will be coming back sometime soon. He's been gone for about 2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So my assumption is he's on the way back. And then with Nava coming back, that's 2 people taking Sainte's spot. So there essentially wasn't any room for him, is where it's at. He hasn't proved himself enough to take over Sergio's spot. He obviously didn't prove himself to take over Nava's spot after he was gone for a month and a half. So do I think Sainte's a good player? Absolutely. Do I think he has a future? Yes. it just wasn't working out here because we have so much talent that how do you put in an 18-year-old to take over a position over someone who's proven himself to be somewhat reliable?
Well, you've got Mike Azira, who is arguably one of the most veteran guys on the squad, who isn't getting very many minutes either. You got Sam Hamilton, who is making mistake after mistake after mistake. You see, Bees, who has struggled at times. You see Sergio, who's been out. Moreno's been out. Nava's been missing. So, and then of course Justin went down last week. So, why hasn't there been an opportunity to get him in there? For a guy that you say there's no way to get him, how do you get him in? There's been plenty of opportunity with the struggles that we've had in the midfield. Why not put him in there? Give him the opportunity over some of these guys. And I know Zach has said that he doesn't make emotional decisions, and that's fine and good. But when you look at the performances objectively, and guys are not creating, guys are not securing that midfield like they should, why not give Sainte a shot? That's where I'm at with that.
Right, and I'm on the same boat as you. Like, why would you not give him a shot when there was ample opportunity to do so? We're not there on the training pitch, though. We don't know on the training grounds. We don't know what's going on over at Mesa del Sol on the activities that are happening. Maybe I don't know. I can't even speculate. But regardless of that, Sainte is gone, unfortunately, because I kind of did like him. I do wish him the best at MLS Next.
MLS Next Pro in front of 30 fans.
I mean, that's
by
more
the way,
than LA had.
Yeah, Dignity Health Park, by the way, LA Galaxy, the Stadium Steelers, once again closed to the public, had 0 fans in attendance on Sunday. Like, this is just ridiculous. It's such a terrible look. And then for them to try to steal the stadium, but like, I don't know. I'm just severely disappointed in how things have gone. We're now 4 matches winless. Like, it's just, I'm trying three matches.
We played good the first half.
Mm-hmm.
We played really good the first half. I mean, when we went into halftime at 2-0, I was thinking, shit, this might be a 4-banger.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. And then we came out second half, and I don't know what light got turned off or who got a blowout somewheres, but we definitely shit the bed second half.
Yeah, we most certainly did. So while we were talking, I was looking at the results. All right. What do you want to hear our record against teams that are currently in the playoff positions, or against the record against teams that are not currently in the playoff position?
Can I take a guess on each one?
Sure, take a guess.
So against playoff teams, I would have to say, I couldn't fucking make a guess.
Against teams that are currently in playoff positions, we are 2 wins, 3 losses, and 6 draws. Against clubs not currently in playoff positions, 8 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. We're beating the teams we're supposed to beat. We just cannot make any sort of headway against the good teams in the league.
And I think that's where Kavan's going to come in. We know that Kavan has a knack and tendency to score goals.
Mm-hmm.
He's the 3rd all-time leading goal scorer for United. There's a reason for that. So yeah, I think that Kavan will make a difference. Who he replaces, I don't know, because you can't take Nico off. I mean, he's your minus Justin. He's your club leading goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to say Romario? 4 matches in, do I want to say Romario? 4 matches, 1 goal. somewhat lackluster second half. Rumor has it his tent is still camped out over at Dignity Health Park. I think he replaces Romario, to be honest.
All right, so Romario in 4 appearances, Romario has 187 minutes.
Okay.
So he's averaging, just over 60 minutes in that time. Now, the first 2 appearances were towards the end of the match, so those weren't full appearances. And he did get subbed off in both the other 2 as well. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
So if you're this perennial goal scorer named Romario Williams, and you get subbed off, you get subbed on the first 2 matches and subbed off the second 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a good look. I mean, yeah, I get the first 2 because he was still trying to acclimate to the team, acclimate to the altitude, all that stuff that goes into professional soccer. Obviously, I'm not a professional sports athlete at all.
What?
Unless beer chugging and video games are a professional sport, which, yes, I know esports is professional. I know there's beer chugging, but I'm not associated with any of those. So unless beer chugging and playing FIFA on PlayStation is a sport, then no, I'm not an athlete. So Romario getting subbed off the first 2 full matches that he's played. That he was actually fit for it, ready to go, match fit, 90 fit, whatever they call it. For him to get subbed off both of those is not a good look. Because 1, you either get subbed off because you're tired, or 2, you get subbed off because you're not performing. I would hope it's because he gets tired, and I'm hoping it's not because he's not performing. We've obviously seen 4 matches, 1 goal. There's kind of a lack of performance there.
Well, to be fair, I don't necessarily think Romario's a 90-minute guy. I don't think he is. I think, like Dev over in 2021, Dev was a guy that you want to see come on for 60 minutes.
Okay,
maybe.
So you say that he's not a 90-minute guy, which is fine. I get that. Understandably, he's older. He's up there in age. He's almost Dev's age.
He's 4 years younger than Dev.
Okay. My point. He's almost Dev's age.
I'm 10 years older than Romario.
Well, yeah, because you're old as fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
So you say he's not a 90-minute guy, which is fine. But is he a more than 1 goal guy?
I think he is, but a lot of that's going to depend on the service that he's getting. I mean, if you look at the chance that he had on Sunday, I mean, he was in a great position to get the ball from Bees, but the delivery, the creativity from the midfield hasn't been there all year. Most of our goals, we've seen 6, I think it's 5 or 6 set penalty goals from Justin Portillo this year. Well, I want to say it's 5 penalty goals from Justin Portillo. We've seen 1 set piece goal from Bees. We've seen so that that's 6 of our however many goals he scored. We've had very few goals created from open play in the grand scheme of things. We don't see the service into the box. We don't see the runs, drawing defenders out. We continue to try to play very narrow, which doesn't seem to work for us because we don't have the creativity through the middle. So we get forced into trying to play out wide, but because teams know we can't go through the middle, they can sit guys back and just sit there narrow at the back and prevent us from getting good opportunities created inside the box, which is where guys like Romario, that's where they really shine. When you have creativity, we have guys like Sergio and Amando and Bees pulling defenders out and creating havoc, giving Romario and Kev and Dev and those guys space in the box. That's where he excels, and we're not giving him that. I think he is.
So when Sergio is healthy and fully healthy, do you think we see a 4-3-3?
I think it's more of like a 4-1-3-2. No, for yeah, I think it's something more along those lines, because if it's me, I want someone like Nico or Kev as my 9, and then I want Romario as my 10. Because Romario, he's a big guy. He's got the hold up play. He's got the ability to shoot, particularly from inside the box. That doesn't mean he can't score from outside, but I want to see him be in an opportunity where he can get the ball, turn and shoot, or hold the ball up just long enough to create a run or draw the attention for someone like Kev or Nico to make a run in behind. And that, like I said, that's where Romario shines. Romario is Dev younger with a higher ceiling. And I think if we can figure out the creativity, if we can figure out the chance creation, you could see Romario. I mean, obviously 10 matches to go. He's more likely not going to hit double-digit goals, but I think we could see him probably hit, get to 5 here in the last 10 matches, which would be huge, because then that opens up more opportunities for guys like Nico and Kev and Jerome to get in space, and even opens up, space outside the box for Bees or Amando, So I think there's, like I said, if we can figure out the chance creation and the midfield issues, like, it's going to be a lot better up top. That's what I think is going to happen. But is it something that's going to change overnight? Is it something that's going to happen going into the midweek match tomorrow against Memphis 901? I don't know. I don't think so. Memphis is a very good club. And that's obviously the first of 2 matches this week. Again, Memphis is I believe they're sitting second in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, second in the Eastern Conference, 48 points, 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in their last 5. And they look really, really good this year. I mean, obviously the matches this week are back at the lab. Earl, looking at Memphis, I mean, I'd ask you what you think I'd ask you what you think needs to happen tomorrow night, but I think I know where that would go.
No, so actually, it's not score. It's not.
Okay.
Because we've proven to ourselves that we can't score at the lab. So why would I waste my breath on even saying that? Because we already know it's not going to happen. I think at the lab, we've only put up more than 1 goal twice, 3 times maybe.
I'll double check that while you're talking.
So yeah, something around 2 or 3 for sure. Maybe it's a handful, definitely a handful, no more than 5. So with that, really what I think is create chances out of the midfield. Instead of having Nico or Romario or Dev or whoever's playing the front line, instead of having them fall back and having to play out of the midfield, why not pass out of the midfield? And when I say pass out of the midfield, I don't mean pass to the backfield. Because we showed on Sunday, when we don't pass to the backfield, we don't encourage the opposing team to press us more. So we're constantly pushing it towards the attacking side of the field. The team's not pressing us, and we're more comfortable doing what we want to do with it. When we give them the opportunity to back pass, and when we back pass, that gives them the opportunity to catch up to us, leading us to make a stupid turnover because they're constantly in our face. They score on us, and then we're back sitting here twiddling our thumbs, bitching and moaning about how we're giving up these stupid penalties or these stupid passes. Well, yeah, if someone's in your face all the time, it's basketball 101. Shot contesting. If someone's in your face 9 times out of 10, you're more likely not going to make that shot unless your name is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James. But if anyone on United was a Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, they wouldn't be playing USL.
Yeah, we definitely have some guys, particularly Sam, who is very quick to turn and pass backwards. And yes, there is a tactical need for that time to reset it. Let guys try to make some additional moves, make some additional runs, create space going forward. But like we have to stop being so quick.
And you just said it. So there are some times that you use it for a tactic. to reset yourself, get your players back in position, and kind of stretch out the defense in the opposing team. But when that is your bread and butter play, that's the problem. Teams have now saw, oh, they're just going to pass it back. Let's just pressure the hell out of them until they make a bad pass, and we'll just capitalize on it with our 5 people on the front line now.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is. It's tough to look at it and break it down and try to come up with something positive from all these things. And earlier you asked about the goal scored at home. At home, we have been held goalless 3 times. We have scored 1 goal 6 times. We have scored 2 goals twice and more than 2 goals once, which of course was the UNM match against Phoenix Rising. So yeah, we typically don't score a lot of goals at home for whatever reason this year. We just haven't, and we really haven't scored all that many on the road either. But we've done better on the road, I should say. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. We had I think it was an internal question about is the pressure of playing at the lab too much for these guys at this point? And I think it's fair to ask. I mean, we have 10 matches remaining. The magic number heading into the weekend against LA Galaxy was 25, according to USL Championship. We picked up one of those points on Sunday, so the magic number now basically sits around 24, and it's still been beneficial with the other results from around the Western Conference. But I mean, 10 matches, 24 points as the magic number. I mean, that's 6 wins, 8 wins. I don't see that. I certainly don't see 8 wins out of these final 10 matches. But looking at Wednesday in particular.
Hang on. Timeout. We have a troll in the chat.
Jerry, how you doing, buddy? Glad to see you.
Our younger brother, Jerry. Things are not looking good, eh?
Jerry, I'm pretty sure that's pot calling kettle black. I mean, unless I'm missing something about what's going on down south, I hear. So,
how is it down south, by the way?
Huh?
And I'm not talking about El Paso either.
Is Seriously Loco just a podcast? That's all. That's my question for you, Jerry. But yeah, Memphis 901. Something's got to change. I think, and I really, really hope we go to a legitimate back 4 on Wednesday night. And I hate to say that, being at home, but I think we need it. I think we need a back 4. Sit Kalen, put Will in there, put Alexi and Will back there as your center backs. Get Ratty in there as the left back. Find someone who's healthy to play right back. And then, go with like a 4-1-3-2 or even a 4-4-2 for all I care on Wednesday night against Memphis. But we have to start picking up points from these matches or taking points off of these guys who are in the playoffs.
I want to see that 4-3-3.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Who you'd have on the back line, I don't fucking know. You definitely have Kalen because that's like a guarantee. I would wish we didn't see Will, but we probably would see Will in the back line. So ideally, this is what I would go with. I would go with Suggs on your left back. I'd go Ratty on your left center back. I'd go Kalen, your primary center back. And then shit, I don't know who else you'd throw on the far right.
Brucey maybe, but you'd have to restrain yourself from playing him in that full as a wing back. Yeah.
So regardless of who you play on that right line, and then your mid 4, I would have Harry. I would have Bees, Nava, and Bruce. If Bruce isn't playing your wingback role. And then your 3 up top, it would be obvious that it's your first home match with Kavan. You start Kavan. So you have Kavan as your mid striker, you have Nico on the right, and you have Mondo on the left. And that way you have some right wings and left wings to attack in the midfield, space everything out, because now they have to focus on Mondo and Nico. That gives you ample opportunity to get Bees up, to get Nava up, to get Brucey up, to get some goals in. I mean, that's my take.
That's interesting. That's interesting, and I like that. I like the shout, but I think if you're gonna do that, you want to do more like a 4-3-1-2. Put a Mondo in that cam role, and then have Nico and Kev up top. Because I think a Mondo in that cam creates a lot of interesting things. Now, neither Nico or Kev are great at hold up, but you've got a ton of pace. You've got guys all across the front that are going to have scoring opportunities. That could be really interesting. Let's see. Jerry 4-4 gets called. I watched that match. That was entertaining. Like I couldn't believe that match ended up 4-4.
I was actually at the movie theaters with my wife on a date night.
There you go.
So I didn't watch it.
Yeah, and looking at your back four, I mean, like I said, I put Ratty on the left, Will and Alexi in there, and then throw, like I said, Brucey out on the right, maybe, or Harry out on the right.
I mean, so going back to mine, that back line, yeah, you could put Ratty on the left, Will and Kaylin on the middle, and then that gives you a chance to put Alexi on the far right.
Yeah. I think having Ratty on the left gives you more overlap opportunities, especially on that left side, because he can drive all the way down. We've seen it happen. And I think it's a really interesting prospect to have, see Ratty in that role and being able to cause some havoc down there. So,
and that'll give you the opportunity to have, so we went Ratty, Will, Kaylin, Alexi on the back line. Then you could have Suggs as your left in the midfield. You could have Harry, your mid left. Bees, and then Brucey or Nava, whoever you want to put right there. And then, yeah, you could put the 3 up top that I said. The Mondo on the left, Kavan in the middle, and then Nico on the right.
Yeah, Jerry, we sound like a broken record. We really do. And it's aggravating. It's really aggravating. So anyway, score predictions for tomorrow night out at the lab.
So, as much as I want to be a homer, I can't.
Okay.
Memphis is a really good team. They're obviously second in the East for a reason. They were first for about 2.5 months or so. They were first for a while. For a reason. Unfortunately, I predict a loss on United.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say 3-1.
3-1. Okay, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, Memphis can absolutely score some goals. Let me double check and see where they're at stat-wise. Come on now. There we go.
And no, Jerry, it's not too soon for the panic button. We're sitting in 4th place. We've all but secured a playoff spot. So, no, panic button is out the window at this point. Because we've all but secured that playoff spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say panic button. I mean, we're 10 matches from the end of the season. I think it's going to come down to the wire, but I think we will do just enough to get into the playoffs. I know there were some places that had us projected like 56 points, 57 points. Jacob, I think what did Jacob say? 60 something a couple weeks ago?
I think
61. Yeah. And I felt like that was just way overshooting it. I mean, I felt like we could end up around, 51, 52, which I think is still possible. But I think we're going to end up probably somewhere right around like 49, 50 now. But hopefully I'm wrong. But anyway, Wednesday night, Memphis. So Memphis has scored 44 goals on the season. They've only conceded 22. So they're a very good club. I thought about this one a lot. I definitely see a loss tomorrow night against Memphis. I won't go quite 3-1. I would say 2-1. And I think Memphis will score, like the 78th, 79th minute to finalize it, to get the second one in. I think that's where it's going to be at. So yeah, there's our two predictions for tomorrow night. We'll get Jacob's some point this week and let you guys know what he came up with. Moving on to Saturday, Monterey Bay FC comes to the lab. Monterey Bay is a team that has been playing a lot better of late. They have won 4 of their last 5, or their only loss coming to San Diego Loyal. And even going back farther than that, Monterey Bay has been looking a lot better. They do still have a shot at the playoffs. They do have a couple matches in hand on some folks ahead of them. So this is a side that I'm a little bit worried about. They don't necessarily play well on the road. We did draw with them back in July. And Jerry over in the chat saying that there's a chance that New Mexico United loses both matches this week.
Yeah, he would say that.
Well, he said it wasn't his prediction, but yeah, I mean, Monterey seems to be figuring some things out. Looking at this one, I still feel like United is the better club. I feel like we've got a lot more going for us than they do. Obviously, Monterey does have guys that we're familiar with, like Sam Gleedle, Wilmer Martinez, Christian Valeski, I apologize, another guy that we should be familiar with, that have all gotten on the score sheet for Monterey Bay. And, I mean, is there anything that you've seen from them, Earl, that leads you to believe that they're a threat to United this weekend, or what's caused the turnaround for them?
Well, what's caused the turnaround is their pace. I mean, they've definitely turned around their pace to where they pressure teams like no other. They're constantly in the opposing team's face, constantly trying to get the ball. When they turn it over, they're essentially beginning of the season Christian Nava.
Mm-hmm.
To where they turn the ball over, they also swarm to the ball to get the ball back. That's the dangerous part of it. So once they got that figured out to get back to the ball and just keep their head up, yeah, they became dangerous. Do I think Monterey Bay is capable of beating New Mexico United? At this point, anything's possible. I literally, I didn't watch it, but I watched the scoreline of an El Paso team scoring 3 goals in the second half on a Colorado Springs team who, has been struggling. 4 goals. My bad. 4 goals second half. So yeah, do I think Monterey Bay is capable of beating New Mexico United? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I think they're capable of doing it. But do I think United's capable of beating Monterey Bay? Yeah, I do as well. So anyways, back to myself over here. That was a side tangent. So yeah, that's what makes them dangerous now, and what's getting them going is the fact that they have learned to pick up the pace and learn to send the long balls and turn around and get right back in your face when the ball's turned over to the opposing team. So yeah, that's what caused their turnaround. I think that was the second part to your question, but I'm not sure.
No, that works. That absolutely works. Yeah, they've been playing a lot better. They're not necessarily scoring a lot of goals. Defensively, they've been better. They still haven't conceded a ton of goals on the season. I believe they're at 39 goals conceded. So they are a club that can be scored on. They aren't particularly great at the back. But I mean, they're a dangerous side. They really are. Obviously, again, looking back at some of the more familiar names that I mentioned, Christian Valesky and Sam Gleadle, a guy that, local guy from the Albuquerque Soul. Do I think Gleadle is a huge scoring threat? No, yes, he's got a couple goals on the season, but he's not a guy that I would particularly key in on. It's going to come down for us Saturday night, making sure that we don't make mistakes at the back. We don't give the ball away in the defensive third. As long as we can do that, I feel like we're going to severely limit Monterey's chances. Again, they're not necessarily great in the attacking side. They don't put up a lot of goals per match, but they do have the ability to do just enough. So I think Saturday night it's going to be an interesting one. I think New Mexico is going to be. Hopefully, New Mexico United comes out. They're pissed off. They're ready to play Saturday. They're looking forward to that Saturday night crowd out at the Lab, and I see United getting this one 2-0 on Saturday.
Okay. Here's the thing. When we're pressured, we are burning dog poop.
Mm-hmm.
When we have a man constantly in our face, constantly in our half, in our defensive third, we're not good. We're not. And with Monterey Bay being the pressing team that they are, they're going to be in our face all night long. So unless we counter their press with long balls, quick passes down to their attacking and to our attacking third, it's going to be a long night for us. Do I see us sending the long balls? Absolutely not. Do I see us sending long balls like we were in the beginning of the season? No, I don't. Tired legs. The ball seems to be landing a little bit shorter. Every match that passes by, it gets that much shorter. So it's going to be a rough game for us. But I do think we get the win. I do think that Monterey Bay scores 2 in the first half. And then we come back out and we score 3.
Interesting. So that's an interesting prediction there, Earl. You think we have enough to get 3.5 against a team that's not Phoenix?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because as much as people talk about Zach not being a good coach, calling for his head on a silver platter already, which is 1 season in, I do think he can still make adjustments, especially being at this stage of the season. You have the veterans like Kalen, Suggs, Dev, Mondo, who have been in this position. So they can rally the club around those 4 guys. And yeah, I think we can easily get 3 goals in a half. Absolutely. I mean, we saw 2 goals in a half. And then we kind of slowed off. We definitely could have saw 3. We definitely could have saw 4 in the LA game if we wanted to keep attacking like we were the first half. But that's the past. So yeah, my prediction 3-2, 2 in the first half for Monterey Bay because they pressure us a lot. We go into half, we make some good adjustments, some smart coaching, some rallying happens, probably some colorful words as well. And then we come out and score 3 of them.
All right. Well, there you have it. 2-0 from me, 3-2 from Earl. Earl, real quick, while Jerry is here with us, El Paso's next 3 matches are San Diego, Phoenix, and us. How do you see those 3 matches playing out for El Paso?
So they will lose to San Diego. Just because San Diego's a really good team. They'll beat Phoenix because it's Rick Kent's, not Shent's. And is that El Paso match against us at home or
that
down
is
there?
here? That is here.
We'll draw.
Okay.
So 1-1-1.
All right. I think you're a little bit more optimistic there than I am as far as El Paso and what's going to happen for the next 3 matches. I see 3 losses for El Paso, but that's just me.
See, if our match was down in El Paso, I would say a win. Because that's who we are. We win on the road. We don't score at home. So yeah, if it was down there in El Paso at Southwest whatever park, yeah, I'd call a United win. But because it's at home and because we love to give up late equalizers against El Paso in the 95th minute of 90, in the 95th minute of a 91-minute stoppage game, yeah, we draw with them.
Yeah, I have a hard time predicting that El Paso Phoenix match because I don't want either of them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, Phoenix has moments, but Phoenix is not good at the back. El Paso is not good at the back. El Paso can score. They're just not good at the back. I think Evan Newton has become a bit of a liability, but yeah, I don't know. It's final 10 matches of the season. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens. We've got a bit of a congested schedule coming up. Might have some tired legs going on. 2 matches this week. 2 matches this week. Then we have
Jerry. If you're talking about the one where Penis had Logan Ketter run up on the ground crying like a little baby, yeah, I did watch that live.
All right. Apparently, Jacob's not going to make it here for us to Saving the Best. All right. We knew he was going to be a little bit late. So, Jacob, if you're still on the road, if you're still dealing with kids, be safe, be careful. Do not murder your kids, please. I do need a new co-host for next week. We do appreciate everyone who popped into the chat. Harry, Jerry, appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate everyone watching live over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, wherever you may be. You heard it here. You heard our scoreline predictions for this week. We talked about the transfer of loan of Carl Sainte over to North Texas SC. And you heard our recap of the Sunday evening affair against Los Dos out of the empty Dignity Health Sports Park. Guys, as always, we are here live every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. This was episode number 97. We do have 3 more until episode number 100. And we do have a special guest currently on the books for episode 100. So that should be a lot of fun. We're hoping for a really good show that evening. So mark it on your calendars, October 6th. That will be our 100th episode. Full episode, I should say. We do have bonus content and things like that over on our feed, but 100 episodes proper. It's been fantastic over the past couple seasons doing this. Looking forward to that show. As always, guys, thank you for being here. If you listen on your podcast services, please be sure to rate, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And
so before you sign off, I heard you mention books.
Okay, on the books, yes.
Is this a call for Earl's bedtime stories?
Yes, it is time for Earl's bedtime stories.
I'm just kidding. I won't put you guys through that. I did make a vow to myself. Little did Seth know, little did Jacob know. I vowed to myself to be professional, and boy was I.
No, you did fantastic, and I appreciate you being here. I know your shoulder is problematic, so get some rest, Earl. And for those of you over in the chat, until next time, Somos Unidos.